Coming up on today's episode, I woke up, but I was paralyzed. You know, sleep paralysis? I was paralyzed. I, in that state that I was in that frozen state, I could see that there was a figure on the ceiling. It jumped down and it was at the foot of my bed where my feet are, and it was just staring at me. That's why I've always been, not always, but I struggled with I'm separating God, ancestors. Why am I so scared? Dude, God told me. Isdalo Sam told me. Sanbanani and welcome to Notes with Nomfundo. This episode is more of a spiritual thing because I've been sitting with a spiritual question that I don't think, when you sit with a spiritual question or idea that you've never been able to actually articulate yourself, but you've been struggling with, I'll say that's what's been happening with me. Oh, this incense is blowing my face. So I'm not going to say it all started with, but the idea started with me thinking about what has been happening. So, for example, I had been praying and pattering a lot for more money to come into the household, seeing as I needed to earn a bit more money and the salary I was getting was not enough. And I would be praying and pattering and would see my CV will go well, people will receive it well, I'll be able to find a job that's better for me. One time I remember pattering and asking them, may my CV go well? May I be able to get a job? It's not too far. They'll still be able to live here. All of a sudden, I got the feeling with conviction and it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to find a job. I remember when that feeling came, and that it's a feeling of it, and it's a voice that you hear saying, immediately I lit my candle, went into bed and started sulking like a baby because I'm like, what the hell was that? I then remember, okay, cool. A family member was talking about doing RFQs, tenders for government or whatever, and that they was telling me like a month before I did that praying and that I heard what I heard. I remember the conversation of them telling me I should open up my company and I should do this. And so I was like, okay, cool. I passed it and I said, okay, so if I'm not going to get a job out there, cool, but then I need to have some form of finances, extra finances coming in. And I'm about to open this business. I then opened up the business, made sure it was compliant. I then found my first RFQ from the exact same company that the family member was telling me about. And I remember as I was applying, I was just thinking, I'm just doing this for experience. It's my first one I'm applying for. It's for a bar fridge. Come on. What could happen? The minute before I hit send on the email to send the documents, I did a little prayer, may it go well. The minute I hit send, all of a sudden that same feeling, remember that feeling I got from when they said you'll never be able to find a job out there? That same feeling I got, that calm but conviction was, it's yours, don't worry. Jiggy, what happened? It actually became mine, and I actually got paid for purchasing and delivering a bar fridge. And so that experience of the feeling and the being told you will never be able to get a job, don't worry, it's yours. There was also another experience where I was crying emotional walking down the streets in town, and this guy kept bothering me trying to get my number, and we came to an intersection, and I remember all of a sudden, instead of thinking about what made me upset, the calmness came over me and told me, you need to move away from this man, he's going to push you in the middle of the road. Immediately I listened and I walked away from him to stand next to somebody else. People started turning and seeing the guy was like, oh, okay, send your handbag. And he left me. And the minute he walked away, I went back to crying and thinking about my problems. Like those experiences, they're all adding up. And I was in the sensitive spiritual state where I'm like, who was that? Who was that? Was it God? Was it my ancestors? Because I'm not Christian. I believe in God, and I believe in worshiping God, and I believe in acknowledging and honoring my ancestors. And let me tell you another actual scary example. Now I feel like I'm just telling you stories, but this one was actually, so I told you an example of me trying to better my life and hearing the voice of me being safe. Let me tell you this scary example. I went to sleep in my room one night. My mother and I lived together. I went to sleep in my room one night. You know, before you go to bed, you get up, you drink water, you go to the loo, then you come into your bedroom. I was telling my mom, okay, I'm going to sleep now. I went into my room, and the minute I stepped into my room, before I switched off the lights, that same calm but conviction of a thought popped through saying, Ungalalan. And I legit looked around. I'm like, huh? And I said, okay, well then where am I supposed to sleep is what I said out loud. And they responded, Lala no mawak. And I said, no. I hopped into bed. Tell me something. I hopped into bed. It was like 11:30. An hour later, because I ended up checking the time after this whole ordeal, I woke up, but I was paralyzed. You know, sleep paralysis? I was paralyzed. In that state that I was in that frozen state, I could see that there was a figure on the ceiling. It jumped down and it was at the foot of my bed where my feet are, and it was just staring at me. Yo, I just started praying, started calling upon my ancestors, in like a calm, like, nope, you're not supposed to panic in these moments, praying, whatever. And then eventually it felt like I was about to like move. Then I fell back asleep. I immediately woke up again. I was still paralyzed. Do you know what happened next? Whatever was at the foot of my bed all of a sudden jumped up and it was sitting on my stomach, on my chest, and it was putting its hands around my neck and strangling me. At this point, I could hear my mom had gotten up to go use the toilet, and I'm being strangled in the room next door. I went from praying nicely, calm, to yay, sick. Literally, I just started swearing at this thing, all my might, all my anger, swearing, saying, I'm a comforter, blah, 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 blah. Next thing, I was able to come out. The minute I was able to get up, grabbed my pillow, my blanket, and I ran to my mom's room. My mom came back from the toilet. This whole thing happens in a short span of time. Mom comes back from the toilet, seeing me in her room, making the bed so I can sleep. And she's like, hey, Buwenza. And I said, there are demons in my room, tandas. And my mom had to pray, and then we went to sleep. But who warned me? Was it God or was it my ancestors? And the minute I actually sat down and I thought about this was when I thought to myself, okay, but why do I feel the need to know who exactly was it? So I'm in the process of decolonizing my mind. I believe that we've been conditioned to look at things through a Western lens or a Christian lens as well. It's viewed or portrayed as superior, and they've suppressed our African methods. And so that's why I've turned towards God and ancestors. This is through my own experiences and my own thoughts. So it's not like I was raised in a household. I was raised in a household where you can believe what you want to believe, do good unto others and good will come unto you. It was more Buddhist, I swear on my life. But I'm in the process of decolonizing because at school, primary, high school, jobs, everywhere you go, everything is from the Christian or the white lens. And I'm in the process of trying to find my footing. And in the process of me trying to find my footing in affirming my beliefs, these questions come up. And honestly, these questions are one of the reasons why I've struggled with spirituality for a minute. One of the reasons is I end up feeling unsure of my belief and practices. Because the stories I told, I struggle to say, okay, no, uNkulunkulu told me, Abantu Badala told me, Itongo told me, iDlozi told me. Whenever I would try and explain to someone, like just how the story I'm trying to relate to you about the strong voice conviction, a lot of people would be quick to say, God told me, don't sleep in the bedroom. Someone would say, iDlozi told me, do not sleep ekamaleni. Isidalo Sam told me. But yet somehow I'm just saying I'm just saying I was told, the strong feeling. I always struggle and I would always tell people, I'm not sure if it's God, my ancestors, who, but I would hear this voice that would tell me, not schizophrenia. If I was talking to a doctor, they'd say schizophrenia. But I would always struggle with finding one word to sum up who is telling me. Someone would say it's your higher power, the God within you. It's God. It's iDlozi. It's uNkulunkulu. It's Jesus. You know what I mean? I would always struggle with intuition. I would always struggle with, okay, but which one is it? Which one am I affirming and I'm standing 10 toes? This is who is speaking to me. And is what I'm standing 10 toes in coming from my own beliefs or from beliefs that I'm not going to say inherited because I didn't grow up in a household where we were taught, but I'll say beliefs where we were conditioned. Let me put it like that instead. And I'm trying to understand who in this structure of hierarchy is the one who's giving me these answers. Who can I confidently say to people, no, Abantu Badala told me, Isidalo Sam told me, iDlozi told me, uNkulunkulu told me. And me being confident in my answer based off of my own experiences and in my own beliefs. And I say today because tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, I could end up believing something else. Well, the next time I upload something, I could end up believing something else, because I allow myself space to change my belief. But today, as I record this, if I truly believe, or if I truly acknowledge and honor my ancestors, and I worship God, and that my ancestors work with God, then why am I forcing a separation? If I truly believe that my ancestors, iDlozi, have the ability to deliver messages to me from uNkulunkulu, why am I trying to separate? Why are my options only God was the one who spoke to me, my ancestors are the one who spoke to me? If ultimately God is in control and the messages I receive are from my ancestors, from God, and because they work together, then ultimately God is talking to me. I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself well, because even I'm confusing myself as I'm saying this. I believe that the messages iDalo give us are from uNkulunkulu. So if I believe that, therefore, the minute I walked into my room and the voice told me, and the feeling, because sometimes it's not just a voice you hear in your room, but sometimes it's that feeling that gets interpreted into words, because that's how you can do a reading on people. It gets interpreted into words. If I believe that that is iDalozi, and if I believe iDalozi delivers messages from God to help keep me in line with uNkulunkulu, then ultimately the message is from God. So why am I saying no iDalozi said, no uNkulunkulu said? It's all one and the same, is what I'm essentially trying to say. So if I say uNkulunkulu told me, I'm correct. If I say iDalozi told me, Amatongo told me, iDlozi told me, I am correct, because ultimately it all works through God. It's filtered through God. God comes first, then everything else follows. If it comes from God, if they work with God, then it ultimately comes from God. So why am I not firm in my beliefs and saying, uNkulunkulu told me, don't sleep in my room, and I disobeyed and didn't listen, and I got attacked? Why am I nervous to say, iDalozi told me I mustn't sleep in my room, and that I must go sleep with my mother, and then I ended up staying in the room and I got attacked? Why can't I say that firmly? Why is it? It's insecurity. Why am I insecure? Insecurity because you don't know, because you're still learning, because you're still affirming. Also, because it's also, that's why I brought up decolonizing the mind. I'm just realizing something now. Everybody, all the Christians, every other belief has a book, has a Bible, has a book, has, the Quran, the Bible. Vishnu has their books. And when it comes to believing in the works of ancestors working through God working through ancestors, there is no actual book. This is based off of experience and belief. But at the same time, I was looking at Buddhism, and Buddhism basically says, don't go off of my word. Buddha said, don't go off of my word. Don't take my word. Don't take my word for what it is. Go experience it yourself so that you can come up with your own belief, your own opinion. And why? Because we live in a Western society. Because I was about to say, if this is my own belief, my own belief based off of my direct experience, how is that inferior to a Christian's belief based off of the Bible? Why? Because they have an actual book that's written and they can use to promote their faith and to back up their faith. Meantime, I'm going off of experience, and my belief is derived from my personal experience. And as if that's wrong. Do you get what I mean? That's why I'm doing the decolonizing my mind process, because me feeling inferior with just simply my belief is because I am trying to compare what I'm going through and what I believe through the Western lens. Western lens always wants you to have facts and backups. They want you to have studies. They want you to have books. They want you to have, even if it's not anecdotal, they want you to have proof to what you are saying. They want you to qualify what you're saying. Meantime, I'm going based off of my experience and my experience alone. Therefore, it doesn't chalk up to them, and they can never understand, and they never want to understand. I'm trying to enforce my belief through the Western lens, through how they operate, which is you need a book, you need a fact, you need something tangible in order to qualify your belief in what you're saying. Otherwise, they will dismiss it. I think that's what's going on with Christianity versus what you call African spirituality, is the fact that they have a book, they have something tangible that they can refer to, whereas we have word of mouth and belief. And because instead of looking at my belief as just that, it's based off of experience, what feels right to me, that is okay. I don't have to have a book and backup and whatever the case. As long as I do not cause chaos onto the world, what I'm doing is okay. So I think that's why I've always been, not always, but I struggled with I'm separating God, ancestors. Why am I so scared? Dude, God told me. Istalo Sam told me. Don't be insecure based off of other people. Istalo Sam told me, "Ungalala pheka emeleni lakho, hamba lala noma wakho." And I chose not to listen. And then I got attacked. Istalo Sam told me it will not work out getting a job outside there. And then I turn around and say, okay, cool. Well, then you have to help me make a plan in order to make money, because I still need to make extra money. We can't be starving. We live on this earth right now. And I therefore said, help guide me. And I ended up remembering, oh, wait, remember that conversation we had with that family member? And they said RFQs. Let's do that. Next thing, the first one I applied for worked out. I don't think it's important who exactly spoke or to have an exact name. I can say God, I can say Style, I can say iDlozi, it is all okay. As long as the message that is being sent contains pure intentions and serves as guidance, then let it be. Doesn't matter if I say God, iDlozi, iTongo, Isdalo Sam, doesn't matter. As long as what is being said has pure intentions, serves as guidance, it's from a good place. It's the positive vibes. I'm curious though, have you ever been more concerned about identifying the guidance you received, the voice you hear, more than actually listening to the message?